Howdy, nerdy friends. I'm Morgan, the Nerdy Cowgirl, and welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're already a nerdy friend. So I challenged myself to read the fourth book of the Bridgerton series, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. This is Colin and Penelope's story, and I challenged myself to do this in the 24 hours before the show came out, and I failed. But I got right where that little sticker is. I got to the carriage scene and him proposing to her, which is exactly where the first part let off. And I stopped there because I had a feeling that that's where they would stop, or I had a feeling that's close to where it would stop. I didn't think they would go further than that in the first half. So I actually did it perfect. I will read the rest of it before the second half comes out. So this is my review for Bridgerton Season 3, Part 1. I don't know if I like that, but I did it. If you want to know my biggest gripe for Season 3, Part 1, wait till the end, because I'd really like your opinions on it. Alright, so my overall thoughts. I thought it was fine. It is only the first half, so it's not going to be perfect. We still got a whole nother half of the season, so I'm okay with it. I will have to see the next half to really have a definitive opinion about this season, but overall I thought it was fine. So I am in a Bridgerton Facebook group, and I saw a lot of people posting that they felt like this season was boring. I feel like both the other seasons, if they would have been split into two parts, would have been boring. I feel like the first 4 episodes are always going to be boring because they're setting up things to pay off in the second half. So I didn't find it boring. I just saw it as a foundation lead for the rest of the house to be built in the second half, for it to be finished in the second half, and for payoffs to come. I also saw that some people said it was cringy, and I can see why people are saying that it's cringy, because I felt a twinge of cringe, if you will, but I felt like it was in his character, because it kind of felt like a young cringe, like he's still immature, and he's still not as experienced and as lived and as, worldly as Antony was, or and Daphne, that was part of her thing, was that she was immature. I felt like I got the same amount of cringe from Daphne and Simon as I get from Colin, and that might be a hot take. There were times, like even now going back at season 1, and I would be like, ooh, that's a little cringy, but that's okay. A little cringe is okay. How me and my husband were just talking today about going back in time. We were looking at our old prom pictures. We probably were terribly cringe. I just feel like that's to come. I think the show was trying to show that he was trying to get experience with the 2 prostitutes, courtesans, whatever. I don't know the nice way to say it, but the 2 women who slept with him together. I feel like they were trying to say that he is trying to become a man. In the first season with the whole Marina debacle, Antony was like, I'm sorry, I should have took you to brothels, and that's my fault. And he was kind of like, back then, but I wonder if he took that to heart and was like, in order for me to come back this season and participate, I need to get some experience under my belt. And so, I don't know, that's what I got from it. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is the Cressida and Eloise. I kind of want to talk about that first because it's kind of like on the top of my mind. So at first, when I first saw the images of Cressida and Eloise together, I was pissed. I was pissed. I was so mad. I was like, I'm already not Team Eloise. I like how quirky and funny she is, and I loved her book, but I think the show has done a good job making her very selfish and very rich girl blind, I guess. Blind to everybody else but herself, because of her status. But after seeing them together in these first few episodes, I am kind of here for it. And it kind of makes sense to me because Cressida is like furiously hunting for a husband. Like, she's desperately needing a husband. And Eloise couldn't care less. So, for one, Eloise isn't any competition for Cressida. And for two, I feel like she's kind of being a good influence on Cressida. Because of a lot of their conversations, I feel like she's kind of opening Cressida up to a new way of thinking. She's not going to become no radical like as much as Eloise, but she's at least putting some different ideas in her head, or giving her something else to think about, I guess. And she's also kind of being a good friend to her. When she comes to the house to call on her during calling hours, of course Cressida's parents didn't like it, but Cressida was like, I've never had a friend call on me before. And whereas this was such a normal thing for her and Penelope, that Eloise didn't even think about calling on her friend. And now it's sparked kind of that thought in Cressida's mind, where she's like, wow, Eloise might really care about me, I kind of like it. I kind of feel like Eloise kind of levels Cressida out, I guess. Cressida's mean girl and Eloise is kind of like, girl, chill. So she's not quite as mean girl, and even though she did step on Penelope's dress, and which annoyed me, but I feel like, if I remember correctly, Eloise brought it to her attention that, hey, that wasn't cool. And I feel like Eloise might help Cressida to see some of the things that she does that might be driving off her potential beaux. So I don't know, I'm anxious to see what the next half gives us about Cressida and Eloise, about their relationship, which I've seen some people saying about them falling in love, and I don't feel that at all. I see Cressida is searching for a husband. She's hunting for a husband. And Eloise is just looking for a friend. Not a replacement for Penelope, but just a friend. I don't know. I like that we still see how Eloise still cares for Penelope, even though she hasn't forgiven her yet, or she's not ready to forgive her yet, which I can't remember if Penelope ever flat out apologized to her for what she did. I remember in last season her saying that, I did it for you, I did it so the queen wouldn't hurt you, and I believe that. I believe that from the beginning. But I don't know that she ever apologized for what she wrote. So maybe if she ever does formally apologize, maybe Eloise will be open to forgiving her. And then I also like how they're, personifying Cressida, or giving us a glimpse into her family life, because there's a saying that hurt people, and so I don't believe that Cressida has always been bad, because in the first season, Cressida talks to Daphne and says, we were friends, and I knew the marriage mart would make enemies of us, so it leads me to believe that Cressida wasn't always bad, and that she's just probably spoiled, because she is an only child. In the show, I don't know about in the books, but in the show, she's an only child, so she's probably been spoiled, but she's also a daughter, so she's being told, you gotta find a husband, you gotta find a husband, you gotta find a husband. So, I don't know, I like how they are giving us more of her character, and why she's the way she is. And I eat that stuff up. Alright, the Francesca storyline. I like her storyline. I like how they kind of explain why she feels like she's been missing for 2 seasons. Because she's the quiet one who likes to be alone. And I know that, like, in the second season, was she back in Bath? I don't remember if they gave an explanation for where she was in the second season, but I know in the first season she was in Bath, studying the pianoforte, which we now know that she's very good at. And I like that they made her an introvert and made her not really care for the big family. Not that she doesn't love them, but that they're a little too much for her. And, I'm sure some of us have felt that way before. But you gotta go out, step outside for a minute, and take a breath, stare off into space, and then you can go back in there. I'm a little worried that they might be setting her up with John a little too soon. Because I know in the books, Penelope's, Eloise's, and Francesca's are all kind of happening at the same time. I can't remember if Francesca's already married to John and in Scotland during Penelope's, or if she finds him. I think she's already married in Penelope's in the book. But that's the 4th book, and then there's just one more book, and then it's hers. So, but now in the show, she's going to get married to him in the 3rd season, and then we won't see her and Michael until the 6th season. So I don't know, that just feels like a long time. And I don't remember in the book how long she's married to John before he passes away. But, and it's not a spoiler. If you read the book, if you read the back of her book, it says that he dies and she ends up with Michael. So, it's not a spoiler. But, I don't know, it just feels like a long time. I'd have to look back at her book to see exactly. But, because we still got Benedict and Eloise, their seasons. And so, it feels like a long time for her to be married to John before he passes away. I don't know. I'll have to look back at the book to see how long she was married to John before he passed away. I was so happy to see Kate and Anthony happy and in love at the beginning of the season. I wish we would have got a little bit more of it. Husband wished that too. I actually forced him to watch season 1 and 2 with me, and he had never watched any of it with me, and he absolutely loved the Kate and Anthony storyline. He claimed that they were his favorite on-screen love story of all time. And so when he saw them at the beginning of the season, he was so excited. He was ecstatic. He was like, yes, there's my couple. I just love them. And he keeps gushing about how much he loves Kate and Anthony. And so he was very happy to see them. Looking forward to seeing them in the next half, maybe. I do wish that they would have had it in their contracts to even just make cameos every season. Like, just come to set for one day. Because I really miss Daphne and Simon. After not seeing him all season 2, I love Daphne and Simon. They were the couple that made me fall in love with the show to begin with. So I would love to see them happy and with their babies, because you get glimpses throughout the books. So I would love that, but I know it's unreasonable. And then to Benedict, I really hope and pray that they end this season with the masquerade ball, because I think that us Benefee fans, stans, whatever you want to call it, I really think that we would just eat that shit up. We would be pining for them for their season, the whole hiatus until their season comes. And I think that they could easily show us how long Benedict's been pining for her, for his, what was it, Lady in Grey, I think, Lady in Silver, something like that. I think it was Silver. But I think that would be really cool. We would catch that glimpse of them at the masquerade ball, and then, be like so excited for season 4. I don't know. That gets my heart all excited. Gets me excited. And then Violet's storyline. I have mixed feelings about this. And I know it's a hot take. But I don't know if I want it. Okay, hear me out, okay. So part of me is happy for her to find love again. But part of me is like, but Edmund, you had the love match and it was true love, and I don't know. I can't even put it into words. In the show, they have painted such a good picture of Violet and Edmund's love and love story. I've seen, how close his family is, and the love that they have between each other, and the flashbacks from Anthony, and his respect for him and his devotion to him, her devastation when she lost him. Like, I feel like I've got it. I understand it. But then the romantic in me is warring, because I love the true love never dies trope. Even when you die, I can never find someone to replace you, or not even replace, just I can never find someone to love again. I love that. But then I also love I lost my love, but now I've found a new one. I love that trope too. So I don't know which one I want. Violet, you deserve to be happy. You've been lonely. There are sparks flying. See where they lead you. But then another part of me is like, but Edmund. But her garden. But Edmund. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm telling this right, but I don't know. I just have mixed feelings. I'll just leave it at that. Alright, the Featheringtons storyline. I like the Featheringtons. I think Penelope is going to get the boy first. Just saying. I think it's going to be her. I think it's going to be her son. Because she's rushing the other two to get pregnant. Bet they're going to both have girls. And she had kind of written off Penelope. And so I think Penelope's going to get the boy. And Colin's only a third son. So I don't know. That's just my prediction. And I wish there would have been a little more of an explanation for Prudence and her husband. I didn't pick up on any lines or anything like that saying what happened. I think they mentioned Cousin Jack once, but I don't think it was. I think they said he ran away before she could get married. But then they didn't elaborate and say, good thing you were, in the country and looking for a wife, or good thing we fell in love in the country this winter and ran to Gretna Green, or I wish there would have been a little more, because I don't really feel any chemistry between. I don't even know his name. Lord something. I don't know. I don't even know his name. But I don't feel any chemistry between Prudence and her husband. So yeah, I wish they would have made a little bit more of an effort to explain that one. I love the Mondrichs. I love that they now are titled, even though, like, isn't that everyone's dream that you've got some rich aunt or uncle somewhere and they leave you everything? Like, they're living the dream. I know they're not in any of the books, but I've loved them from the very beginning. As a married woman, I don't feel like we have a lot of healthy marriages in media, and I just love them. I love that we see them and they're already married, they got kids, and he's working, she's helping, she's supporting her husband, and I just love them. They're so cute. I don't know. I'm probably the only one, but I do. Alright, so now to the main couple. So, Colin. Lots of people have not liked him this season. But I don't really understand it. Like, a lot of people have been talking about him and his, kind of peacocking and, putting on a show for all the ladies of the town and his buddies and stuff. And then him with the 2 women of the night. But in my opinion, I see it as him compensating. I think he's lonely. And because he makes that claim to his buddies. He said, don't you think it's pretty lonely? And, I think they all laugh at him or something. But I think that gave us a glimpse into his mind. I think he's been searching, like he said in season 2, he's been searching for his purpose. But along the way, he's realized that he's lonely. He makes the comment to Penelope that she hasn't wrote him while he's been traveling. And so I think he's coming back and doing what he thinks will get him attention and make him friends. And I see people do it every day. They act like they're some big player and woohoo, partying every weekend, but they're going home alone. So I see a lot of Collins out there that probably don't want to hear that. I think he's lonely. Alright, on to Penelope. I've always loved Penelope, even since the first season. I don't know. I know some people really do not like her, but I know that the stuff that she writes in the gossip column, it's gossip, and it's about her supposed friends and stuff, but, are they really her friends? She's half of them, in the books, even, they're like, oh, Penelope, didn't see you there. Oh, Penelope, didn't see you there. So it's like, are they really her friends if they're standing here having a conversation with a group and don't even know she's in it? So, and I feel like she's pretty fair with it. She puts her own family through the mud just as much as she puts everybody else through it. So, it's not like she is trying to use it to boost her family, because that's pretty obvious she's not doing that. As far as her and Colin together, I like it. I've kind of thought they were cute from the beginning, so I like it. A lot of the moments that were in season 3 so far have been directly from the book. Like, him cutting his hand, her asking him to kiss her, the carriage scene, a lot of the cringy moments that people keep bringing up. I'm like, it was in the book. What do you mean? After part 2, I will have a definitive review. The things I didn't like about season 3, part 1. The first thing that I'm sad that they didn't include was the Lady Danbury-Penelope relationship. So in the books, if you're watching this, you've probably read the books, but in the books, Lady Danbury is always kind of insinuating that she thinks it's Penelope, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if she ever comes out flat and says, I think it's Penelope, but from what I remember, and from the half that I read just now, it's kind of insinuated that she thinks it's Penelope. But I don't know. I feel like it would have been cool to see. And then my biggest gripe for this season. Where to even begin? Okay. So, in the book, he never had a almost scandal with Marina, right? But even so, in the book, he catches her and gets her into his carriage and confronts her and says, "You are Lady Whistledown." And she says, "Yes," basically. And so he knows she's Lady Whistledown. And then the carriage scene happens. They get hot and heavy. They get back to her place. And he gets out. And, for God's sake, Penelope, are you going to marry me or not? Right? Right. Okay, so we're caught up. So this is my biggest gripe. In the book, he knows she is Lady Whistledown before he proposes to her. So in the show, the situation to me, it mirrors the Marina scandal from season 1. Okay? Marina had a secret. Colin proposed to her. She never told him the secret. It came out in Lady Whistledown. And he had the famous, or not, I don't know if it was famous, but he had the line, "If you would have just told me, I would have married you." Right? So, I feel like this scenario, for the writers of the show, it mirrors that. Penelope has a secret. Now he's proposed to her. And he's going to feel like a fool again. You know, he felt like a fool the first time. He's going to feel like a fool again. And I don't like it. I don't like it. We never got to see her answer in the carriage. He proposed to her, and then it cut to black. She like gasped or something, and then it cut to black. And so I hope that she will tell him then. And then they will carry on with the, officially announcing their engagement. But trailer for part 2 makes it look like she's not going to tell him. Eloise has given her an ultimatum. And so I'm like, I don't know. I'm really upset about that one. That's one thing that really irritates me, really irks me, because I don't know that I see how the writers are going to get around it, I guess. They are the ones that included that scandal in the first one. So it surprises me that they are doing it again, I guess. But, I mean, they changed a lot with season 2, and it frustrated me then, but it all worked out in the end. I'm gonna hold judgment until part 2, but I'm really irritated about that. That is the one thing that the rest of the season, I like it. I like it. I can get behind all of it. That's the only thing that really irritates me. Ugh. I'd really like your opinions on it. Alright, that is all I have for you guys today. I thank you for watching my video. Feel free to like it if you liked it. And subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date on more nerdy cowgirl things. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you guys. Happy trails. Bye.